kind of odd that like a guy like me has to come out from doing what I do on a daily basis to have fun because I see what's going on in these streets and I see you guys just sitting up there in them comfy chairs and suits and I'm getting out here every day and I'm broadcasting this and you guys are just sitting up there in suits or something. Like I really challenge you guys to get out here and do something. These Haitians are running into trash cans. They're running into buildings. They're running into, they flipping cars in the middle of the street. And I don't know how, like, y'all can be comfortable with this. Like, I don't know, like, who's getting paid from this. I honestly feel like someone's getting paid from it in the background. You got a bunch of people on a bus getting dropped off at a gas station to come down here. I know a single mom that FaceTimed me this morning at the welfare office that really need something. And it's nothing but immigrants over there. And I don't even want to, seem like I'm coming down on the immigrants because it's the people that's bringing them down here because wherever they're at, that's what they're used to.
Good morning, Owasso. This is the Twins with Owasso Live, and this is the Morning Loop. Yeah, we figured we'd start off the show with that. That's just a concerned... he's actually an influencer is his job, right? Which kind of weird. But, that guy was bringing that attention to stuff that's happening in his community, to that city council. And he's talking about, where are these people coming from? They're just being bussed here and dropped off at gas stations. Who's facilitating this? I mean, we know they're getting debit cards, and, basically they just tell them, hey, where you want to go? And then they just bus them there. It's pretty crazy what's going on with this whole migrant crisis, guys. This is wild. It is terrifying stuff, and the people in charge just do not care. They're just here to, I don't know. I mean, they're not here to take the jobs that need to be done. I don't know if they're just here to live off welfare programs. I mean, that's what a lot of it is in the UK, in Europe and in the UK. They're just there to live off of welfare programs. That's probably what they're here to do as well in the US. Terrifying. But yeah, so it's crazy. I don't know if you can see our thumbnail this morning, but yeah, our thumbnail is, I can't stop laughing at it. The thumbnail Chad worked on this morning is really good. And then all these images of Trump. So again, hide your pets. Immigrants are hungry. So, I mean, it's sad that there are immigrants who are so desperate that have come here that they're willing to kill animals, like garden variety animals, like dogs and cats and geese at your local pond to eat. That's a sad state of affairs, but it's a crisis that the Democrats have created. It's a crisis that this is Bidenomics right here for you. This entire situation is Bidenomics. And you have all these people who came here thinking that they were coming here for a better life, and instead they're grabbing geese out of ponds, breaking their necks and eating them and cooking them in the streets. And a lot of people are going, you're making this up. You're exaggerating this. You don't know what you're talking about. Chad, why don't you pull up some of the stuff here? Yeah, transition away from that. Like, you got all these funny AI memes that people have been making, which are hysterical. Like this Kamala Harris barbecue in Ohio. I mean, it's a bunch of dogs, cats, and ducks and geese, and Trump's taking them out of there.
Yes, they're absolutely hilarious. So this has been blowing up because
it's real. Like that guy that we just showed you that was talking about that in his community. Like, they're going to the ponds and grabbing ducks and they're taking neighborhood cats and killing them.
Yeah. Here's a video of a immigrant in Italy.
This is a Haitian immigrant in Italy. Actually, I guess it can't be Haitian. It has to be an African immigrant because Haitians, yeah. But yeah, you can hear the Italians yelling at him for cooking a cat on the street out in public. Look at that lady. She's like, what are you doing? And he just does. I mean, like I said, again, this is the myth that all cultures are equal. Like, these people value decency in their society. This guy's just trying to eat. He doesn't care what she thinks. He goes, I don't care what you think, lady. I'm just hungry. And I'll cook this cat. I don't have a problem doing it. These people don't share the same values of the people who are originally from Italy. They don't care. He didn't have a problem cooking a cat in public. I mean, most of us couldn't even imagine doing that. Most people, your average person from someplace like New York City, or in LA, somebody from LA couldn't imagine hunting. Like, they think it's crazy. Like, I remember all the anti-hunting propaganda I grew up with as a kid. It's like now I understand. It's like it's a good thing. It teaches people how to be self-reliant, self-sufficient. And again, why would there be an anti-hunting movement if they didn't want you to know how to not be self-sufficient? I mean, that's all hunting is teaching how to be self-sufficient. Learn how to go out in the woods, hunt and track an animal, kill it, skin it, and get the meat from it.
Yep. And
Why doesn't everybody need to know that?
Well, and here's the other part too: is it also teaches you respect for the animal as well. Like,
Yeah.
Everyone just acts like hunters just want to go out and like it's like the myth of industry is like industry just wants to build, or not build, but just take and destroy. It's like that's what they assume hunters are too. Is like no, hunters go out there, they have usually they have actively like scouted out the area, and they've done all this work to get this animal to come to this area. And then they have like one or two opportunities where they can actually get it.
They always portray hunters as like the Wild West, like Dances with Wolves, where it's like they come across all those buffalo that have been killed and just taken for their skins. They didn't do anything with the meat, and that's how they view all hunters. It's like that's not what we do anymore. Like the reason they had to kill the buffalo is because the buffalo would stampede across the plains. Like they could buffalo herds were so large and they were so numerous that it would take 3 days for them to run across a railroad track.
Yes.
And then they'd have to repair the railroad track because the buffalo damaged the tracks and the train couldn't continue forward.
It is like that scene from what was that silly movie, the Polar Express? It was literally a scene from Polar Express where all the caribou or the deer or the reindeer or whatever are on the tracks and they can't go anywhere. Like that's what it would be like.
But yeah, in the Old West. So I mean, these things are real. These are real problems. But again, it's always portrayed as like, the white man has no respect for the beauty and wildlife of nature in this country. It's like get wrecked. Like
and also, despite that, they're talking about like Native Americans that would also like
run them
off cliffs. That's like turning them into soup at that point.
So there's just pervasive lies and narratives that are told about. Again, I cannot believe how crazy anti-hunting narratives got. But I mean, you kind of jump on board as a kid because you watch all these Disney movies and you watch things like Fern Gully. It's like nature's good, man. It's like, yeah, we all forget that nature's great, but it's also trying to kill us too.
Nature is. You have to look at it there's two ways of looking at it: nature, the provider, or nature, the destroyer.
Okay, we are going off on a tangent here. Sorry, we got off on the tangent, but we're going back to the immigrants. Like I said, so we are so desensitized we're so hypersensitive to hunting and killing that like we here in the States and in a lot of countries, like the idea of going to the local like pond and grabbing a duck and killing it and eating it for food is insane to us. Is where you go to other countries, that's like normal operating procedures there. Like that's what they do. It's like, there's a duck over there. Let's go kill it real quick and eat it. Like that. That's what wet markets are in China. That's what wet markets are in third world countries. Like you'll see animals just killed, skinned out in the streets and they're hanging from the place to go. I mean, that's why that pervasive COVID thing, it's like COVID wasn't a lab leak, is because some Chinese people like eating bats and they're selling them on the wet markets. Like this is a thing. Like that's a thing. Like here in the U.S., it's not, because we think, again, if you saw a home, like anybody go to your local pond, like my girlfriend lives in a nice neighborhood. There's a ton of ducks in a pond in her neighborhood. And if somebody walked over there, grabbed a duck, broke its neck grabbed a duck with his bare hand, broke its neck, and walked into their house, people would be throwing fits. People in that neighborhood would be throwing fits about it. Even in our neighborhood, when we run in the morning, you have all those people that have those geese and ducks that basically they feed them every morning. Like they'll be walking, they have like the geese like know to go to this house because it's a house where this lady will feed them. Like that's what kind of society and culture we live in. And now we're inviting people who don't share our values, who don't give a dang about our laws, don't give a crap about what we considered common decency or what we consider animal cruelty. They go, we don't care. I'm just hungry. I want to eat. And we have Bidenomics has created this situation where these people are going around going, well, I'd rather kill a duck and be hated by everybody in this culture, a culture that I don't care about because I came here illegally. And this guy, look at him carrying this duck across the street, like or goose, yeah. Like, what are you doing, man? Like, what the heck?
Mm-hmm.
People don't just walk around carrying dead geese in their hands. So yeah, this is a problem created by the Democrats and has been, and they are just openly importing it into our country. You're going to get a lot more of this. And I mean, but what they want is they want you to be so desensitized to it that it's just what you see every day. They don't want you to care about it anymore. They don't want you to have this. And you go back to this, yeah, Kamala Harris. And then, and as much as fun as this is, but people making jokes out of this because how ridiculous it is that this, again, this is part of the desensitization process. Like, we're going to look at this and be like, this is so ridiculous, so crazy. And then you make these jokes about it. It's like, do we want to turn this into a joke or do we want to actually take this problem seriously? So I don't know. This is going to be, it's going to be a problem for local towns and municipalities to deal with. And thank goodness in this area here, like we don't really have that issue, but this is going to be an issue eventually for all of us.
I just find this absolutely hilarious because out of all the things that would probably turn like all these liberal voters around, it's not like as this little meme right here implies.
We can kill babies with abortion. We can send troops out to die. But I mean, it's this. This will be what turns liberal white women into conservatives.
As it says in this meme right here, normies finding out that migrants are eating pets. I draw the line at rapes and murders, but I mean, I can excuse the rapes and murders, but I draw the line at animal cruelty.
Yeah, no, I mean that is a perfect meme right there. I'm okay. I can deal with the rapes and the murders, but once you start hurting animals, that's when we have a problem. Again, that is like the Democratic Party and like women in a nutshell anymore. It's absolutely
bonkers.
Yeah, bonkers. But yeah, I mean, I mean, again, what a great meme. Great meme.
There's a bunch. And then, like, the media and as we saw from that guy talking from the city council, like I said, the media and the city council of that town in Colorado, not Colorado, I forget where it was. I'm just
probably Chicago or someplace like that.
No, I think it's Ohio or something.
Oh, okay.
But all of them saying that this is not happening. The city council said that people are overreacting, and the media is saying the exact same thing. Well, the city council members don't live in certain areas. They can't be everywhere all at once. And as you can see here from this, like, Haitians do actually eat cats. And this is them grilling one up. I'm not sure if this is the United States. I think this is actually probably in the Dominican Republic.
Or Haiti.
But this does go to show you that they do eat, cats. So and there have been people saying that their pets have been going missing in that area, like their cats. And they're saying that they've seen like cats being strung up in backyards, being hung up to, be cut to eat, to be butchered to eat.
Wow. But yeah, again, all cultures are equal, everybody. Just remember that. It doesn't matter who a person is or where they come from. All cultures are equal. Once they come here in America, they're just going to, boom, turn into Americans just like that. We don't need to attempt to naturalize them. Their culture is just the same as our culture is.
Mm-hmm.
They believe in the same rights and freedoms that we do, despite the fact they don't know what our rights and freedoms are.
100%.
And that's what I said. That's what Democrats want. They want an ignorant voter base. They want that's why they're trying to lower the voting age. That's why they're trying to allow as many people to vote as possible. They want ignorant voters. I don't want ignorant voters. If you are ignorant, you don't know what laws you're voting on. You don't know the names of the politicians you're voting for. You're just going to vote blue no matter who. I don't want you voting.
Yeah.
You shouldn't vote if you don't know what causes you're voting for. Mm-hmm. If you can't, like, again, that's what I agree with Tim Pool. I think we have to, instead of like having names written down on ballots, it should just be a blank piece of paper and you have to write the name of the candidate you want to vote for on there.
And if you can't spell their name right, your vote is not counted.
Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, again, voting's a civic duty, not a right or an obligation. It's like you should feel responsible for your society and your community.
Yep.
But guess what? We've gotten to the point where it's just like, no, we're just going to make it as easy as possible. People can just fill in a box and then they just put it in a machine. It's like, nope, you should be responsible and write down the name of your candidate. Know who you're voting for. Know what you're voting for. So, yeah. But yeah.
I can't get over these memes.
Yeah.
So
Oh, yeah. These AI-generated photos of Trump and the cats and the... The ducks, yeah, they're fantastic.
But getting back to more of these other videos that we have here, we have a bunch of stuff that we can talk about. We've got this one from the border, if you want to talk about this one, Corey, or I can go to this one here from the Utah.
Doesn't matter. Just start
Then
going
I've
through
got this one right here that you sent me, whichever one you think is the most relevant. I guess we'll start with this funny one right here. Is like, if you remember in one of our previous episodes, we brought up the fact that there was a manhunt going on in Colorado, in Denver, for the guy that hung up those signs that said Kamala Harris.
Yes,
immigrants.
Kamala Harris, illegal immigrants go to the front of the bus, black people go to the back.
Yes, and they said there was a manhunt, and that was actually a real thing. Whereas at the same time in Aurora, Colorado, they've got an apartment complex that's completely taken over
by Venezuelan
migrants.
gang members. Yeah, Venezuelan migrant gang members.
And that's not their biggest issue. Their biggest issue is they have a manhunt for a guy that posted
that hung up signs.
And I'll go ahead and play this so you guys can see that this is a real thing.
A number of significant leads, I think, fostered by video evidence that we have and other evidence that we have that has helped us kind of narrow in on some individuals.
And Thomas says that he doesn't necessarily believe that this act that happened in Denver is necessarily connected to similar crimes playing out across the nation. Of course, if you know anything about this crime, you're asked to call Denver police. Reporting on Colfax, Gabrielle Franklin, Fox 31.
We are
Seems like a tremendous waste of valuable police resources to be going after a guy that hung up some signs out of a joke. Granted, they were well-made signs.
Yeah.
Like, they were high quality, high class. Like, it looked like they were something that the city would have made back in the 60s. But, yeah, now it's the new 60s. The new 60s are illegal immigrants have more rights than citizens do. And he said that's why that point's so poignant. It's like he's making a point that black people are being taken advantage of again in this society, because the argument for the black folks is they're already disadvantaged. They already have the worst that their kids are involved in the worst education systems. They're in the worst neighborhoods. It's like, so they're already having a rough time. And now you're importing a new class of people to come in and basically give them more rights than them.
Exactly. And if you want to make the argument that you think that African Americans should receive reparations for slavery, it's kind of strange that illegal migrants are getting free housing,
debit cards, $100,000, and California they're getting $150,000 to buy new homes, like the migrant home grants.
So anybody that is African American and you think that reparations should be received, you should cheated out by.
You should be super against illegal
migrants.
immigration. Yeah, you should be the most against it. Very sad, but yeah, no, I mean, look, it's just the reality of the modern Democratic Party. Like I said, they're not even trying to hide that they're importing their new voter base.
No, that's the new strategy. They're losing the American Hispanic vote and the American.
Yeah. The sad truth is, the African American vote, the African American community is 12% of the population. Illegal immigrants are probably going to be making up like 30% of the population. They don't care about you.
Yes.
They care about, oh, well, these people will vote for us, and there's only 12% blacks, there's 30% illegals from, it doesn't even matter what nationality they are. They're just illegals. They could be a Hispanic, they could be Jamaican, they could be Haitian, they could be Chinese. We don't care. This is our new voter base, and they know that we're going to be friendly to them. So, yeah, they don't care about you.
Yep. Next one we have here is one that you actually sent me, and this is of a video of people who are out there advocating. Like I said, in this one people's case, he's holding a sign that says "Refugees are welcome here."
Yes.
So this guy goes up to them and goes, "Oh, you support refugees?" And
yeah,
and he's just like, "Yes, of course I do." And then he immediately asks them, "Would you like to house them? We have refugees ready to go, and they ready for your housing." And immediately they all say, "No, I can't afford to do that," or whatever. It's hilarious. It's hilarious, the hypocrisy here.
And you're willing to take the refugees into your home?
Of course,
Only problem is I rent.
Just because you've got that refugees welfare,
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if you'd like to go on a list of people that's willing to actually adopt a refugee and take them into your home.
Well, if I had any space, I
If
would.
you had
but
any
yeah,
space.
it wouldn't be.
Right. Willing to accept a refugee, like adopt one into your home?
I live in a rental place, so I can't.
Rental?
Yeah.
You can't do it?
Yeah.
Someone else's job?
Yeah.
Yeah, alright, thank you. Is she willing to adopt a refugee
love
and
this
take
guy.
them into your home?
No, I'm sorry, I can't.
You can't take one?
I don't have a
Don't have the space.
I-
You have a refugee stay at your house?
Yeah, I don't mind.
You go on the list?
I don't mind, yeah, I can take, give me the thing. Oh wait, I can't, because my house is only a little small and
Amazing, that's what I was waiting for. Thank you, darling. Would you be willing to have a refugee in your home?
Yes, if I had room.
If you had room, it's funny that. Yeah. Love, will you go on my list of people that's willing to adopt a refugee?
No, thank you.
No, thank you. Excuse me, would you be willing to adopt a refugee into your home?
No.
No. Would you adopt a refugee into your home?
No, thank you.
No? So where should we put them then?
Sorry?
Where should we put them?
Sorry, I probably missed
Don't worry about it, don't worry about it. Would you be willing to go on the list of people that's willing to adopt a refugee into their home?
Well, I'm in a tenant flat, one bed. So
Okay. Adopt a refugee?
I would be willing, yeah, if I had the space.
If you had the space?
Yeah.
So where should we put them then?
Unbelievable.
Same answer every time.
Yeah.
But it's the way it is with all these people that go to these protests. Like, they want to be generous with other taxpayers' money, not their time, not their. When it comes down to me, it's like, oh, I can't. I have other things to do. I'm too busy. It's like, you're obviously not too busy to go to this stupid protest and be like, and hold up all your signs saying refugees welcome. But when it comes down to brass tacks, and if you had to do something personally for these people, you are not about it. Mm-hmm. When it comes down to when it affects you personally, you couldn't give a darn. But if you can just walk out in the street, hold the sign saying, yeah, our tax dollars should go to fund refugees, they're like, well, yeah, the government and the rich people can pay for it. It's like, okay, wow, you are a genius. Wow.
Yep.
Of course, again, it's how nice it must be to be generous with other people's money.
Yeah. So it's hypocrisy at its finest. If you're going to advocate for something, you better do it.
Again, this is why charity needs to be done through the church and not through the state. Like, if we put all of our charitable donations into, again, the higher taxes are, the more welfare benefits there are, the less charity donations there are nationally. So the higher taxes are and the more government handouts, people are actually less inclined to give to churches, less inclined to give to charities. But if you lower taxes and you lower government welfare programs, guess what? Charity skyrockets. But again, we just live in this fantasy world where, we just print money and we hand it to immigrants, and everyone who doesn't actually have any skin in the game will just go out in the street and say, yeah, we should bring everybody here. We can do it. It's like, well, what if you personally had to take on the responsibility? Oh, no, I couldn't do that. I rent. I have a one-bedroom flat. I couldn't do that.
Yeah. Where's Oprah Winfrey and all these other famous actors and politicians that have their multiple mansions and stuff like that?
Yep.
Where are they to open up their homes?
I mean, George Clooney has multiple vacation homes all over the world. I mean, I know he has some in the UK. He could turn this into an Airbnb for refugees, but he's not going to do that. He's going to want to make money off of his properties. So anyway, yeah, I'll go ahead and play another video. We'll get off that subject.
Next one I have here is this person at the southern border watching several different nationalities of migrants just crossing our southern border and asking where they're from and where they're going, and it's amazing.
Where are you going? Thank you. You?
India.
Where are you going?
Oregon.
Thank you. You?
India.
Where are you going?
New York.
Thank you.
India.
Where are you going? Thank you.
India.
Where are you going?
California.
Thank you. You?
India. California. Cincinnati.
Cincinnati. Thank you. You?
Senegal.
Where are you going? Thank you. You?
Senegal.
Where are you going?
New York.
Thank you. You?
Senegal.
Where are you going?
What amazes me is how they have no shame.
When it takes longer for an American.
They have no shame. They're just like, oh yeah, no, we know we're here illegally. We know we're doing the wrong thing, but we don't care. It's like, and then they have the goal to be like, this is the destination I'm going to, because I've heard good things there. Yeah. I mean, maybe it's possible they already have illegal family members there, and they're just going there to go up there and live with them.
This is a story I don't like to point out, but it's 100% true. But when I was doing some film work when I was still in college for a It was for a food bank and a food shelter. And I went down there to go film some stuff for them. And I was filming, you know, the people making the bags, stuff in the kitchen, stuff like that. People putting the food on the trays. Went outside to go film the line, and there was someone walking around with me, and they said, "Excuse me, we're about to film some stuff. So if you don't want to be on camera for, you know, the food bank or whatever, please get out of line." You know what happened?
Everybody got out of line.
Everybody got out of line. That's exactly right.
Because again, there's shame. There's shame, and that's good that they got out of line, because that goes to show you that they know what they're doing is shameful. They don't want to be shown going to ask for this handout. We have to bring back shame. And again, I remember doing that too. I remember doing that food bank video stuff.
Yep.
I remember that, and you know, you can't make a video look very good if it doesn't look like there's anybody to give charity to.
Exactly.
You can show all the volunteers, but none of the people actually are there to receive the charity want to be seen on camera, one, because they know it's shameful, and two, they don't want to look like they have to need a handout. So again, the video we made didn't even look that good because we didn't look like that anybody was doing anything charitable. It just looked like we were at a school or something, doing like just people putting lunches on a tray. It's like we could have been at a school.
It literally looks like a military food line or a schoolhouse food line.
Yeah, because there was no people there who wanted to be filmed receiving this food. None of the people in line, none of the homeless or the needy wanted to be seen receiving this stuff. And it's the same thing, even with the well, I mean, you remember when we did the thing for the Owasso food bank? We were not allowed to film any of the people picking up the bags.
Yeah,
just like you can only film the volunteers.
Yeah, it's privacy. You can't we couldn't film their license plates or any of their faces.
Show their faces. Yeah. So
unless they volunteered, but I guarantee you nobody wanted to volunteer for that.
Again, people don't want to be seen taking charity because they know it's shameful. They don't want to be seen like they're the people that are asking for the handout.
But that's also why everyone wants it to be government assistance. They want everything to be government assistance.
Yeah, so that they can remove the shame from it.
Exactly. If it's not charity, if the government's giving it to you, because in a theoretical sense, it is technically partially yours.
Yeah.
Part of that stuff coming back to you is yours because you also, at least supposedly, you pay into taxes. But
yep, sad state of affairs. That's again, the charity that's done outside of government assistance is so good because there's shame attached to it, and people know that there's shame attached to it. But like I said, when it's government handout, when you have these people getting EBT cards, like they have no shame anymore. It's not like back in the day when you go to the you had the food stamp booklet that was like this big and this thick, and I remember kids talking about how when they lived with their grandmas or their aunts, the grandma was too ashamed to go, so she would send the kid to go, and the kid was like, it was the most embarrassing thing in my life. And I remember the kid being like, he was a grown man now, but like he was like, I was like, I will never, ever do this again. Like I will not be the guy that has to do this because it sucked.
Yeah,
being that kid at the grocery store pulling out because everybody in line behind you going, oh, food stamp kid. You know, you're like, dang it. People trying to rush to the counter, try to get in front of the kid carrying the giant food stamp booklet.
Because the booklet had certain items in there, so they had to make sure that the item, whatever you're getting, matched whatever the thing in the booklet was.
They weren't allowed to get soda pop. They weren't allowed to get luxury food items, things that we can say. And now with the EBT card, Obama made it super easy for people to just do whatever they want, and then they buy one item they're not supposed to have, and then they scan it, and then you're sitting there in line going, I don't know what item they're not supposed to have, so the cashier has to go back and rescan every item and figure out which item they're not supposed to have. And then everybody in line is like, ugh. I mean, I've had mom pay, I know mom's paid for random people's food because she was just like, if I just pay for this person's food, I'll just pay for you. And then like the lady had the gall to turn around and go, I don't need you to pay for my food. I'm not a charity case. It's like, well, ma'am, you're on welfare, so obviously, technically you are a charity case.
Yes, 100%. But getting back to it, and here's the kind of the last one that I have for the day, and this one's like also showing that the immigrants said, even though most of the stuff that we're criticizing right now is illegal immigration that's happening, or or if it is legal immigration, it's people who aren't, what do you want to call it, like what's it called? It's diversity, and then there's what's the thing where everyone kind of comes in, they're not acclimating to us. What's that called? I just literally blanked on it.
Multiculturalism.
No, multiculturalism is like where people are different. I'm talking about what's the other thing? So where they're integrating.
Yeah, they're not integrating, yeah.
Yes. The integration, they're not integrating very well. And this is just kind of shows how importing a bunch of people from a different culture, they aren't integrating because same problem with what's going on in the UK here in what's this say, Taylorsville, Utah. There's like, and this just does not look like
Does this look like
America.
Utah?
Yeah. Does this look like Utah to you?
And Utah's Mormon country.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, it's Muslim country now.
Yeah, they've even got Palestine flags.
This is definitely one of those we hate Israel marches for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's it. Just like that does not look like, you know, Americans walking to school or walking to the parade or rally or whatever the heck's going on.
Yeah, and again, this is where, like, I mean, the Islamic extremism comes in. It's like, we do not want this culture here in the United States. Like, I am all for modesty. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, the Muslim, they get some stuff right. Like I said, female modesty is one of the things that they get right. But there is such a thing as being overzealous in your modesty, is where it's like, you wear this entire burqa everywhere you go. You have to wear it to swim.
Yeah.
So there is such thing as overzealousness, you know, or zealotry inside it. And like I said, Islam is full of overzealotry. But oh my goodness, yeah. But I mean, that's Utah.
Yeah, we're talking hardcore Mormon country, and that does not look like
Mormon country to me.
Mm-hmm.
Again, not in a single American flag being. This is why these people, they don't actually like America. Like, I could understand you having ties to Palestine and being American. But the problem is with all of these people, especially the Islamic community, is there are zero ties to America. Like, why can't you have a Palestinian flag going, we don't want people to die in Palestine anymore? But you also have an American flag, too. It's like, we love America, and we love America, so we're asking a country that we love to stop bombing another country that we love. But they don't have any American flags there because they freaking hate America.
Yeah. Well, it's what I talked about beforehand with the pride thing, the pride flags being flown everywhere. It's like what happened. It's what I've talked about this before regarding like the takeover of Germany, and whenever the Nazis rose to power in Germany.
Yeah,
the German flag was a thing.
Mm-hmm.
The German flag is that like green, black, and blue like flag.
Yeah,
the striped flag. What happened when the bad guys came in and their ideology came in? They changed the flag.
Yeah,
that's exactly what the pride flag is doing. They don't want you to salute the American flag. They want you to salute the pride flag. And it's the same thing with
the
Palestinians. They're not raising the American flag. They're raising the Palestinian flag. This isn't America. This is the United States of Islam, or whatever the heck it is. Whatever you want to make it. But the bad guys bring in their flag and their ideology
and their propaganda.
Try to change it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Very true. Very true. But yeah, so, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, if you learned anything today, it's that hide your pets. Because the migrants are hungry.
Hide your cats, hide your dogs. They coming out here and eating everything.
They eating everything out here. But again, we were just wanting to highlight this massive problem in society right now. The fact that we live in a country where migrants aren't making enough money or have enough food to eat, that they're going and killing animals to eat your kids' pets, is terrifying. And that is a direct result of Biden's economic policy and his stance on immigration. He welcomed them all here. He said, come.
Yeah. He said surge to the border in his election campaign.
Yeah, he said, you're welcome here. I mean, remember, when they were interviewing migrants, whenever they were talking, like, there were ones going back, they were going, yeah, Donald Trump scares me. I don't want to come to America anymore because Donald Trump's scary. He said he doesn't want us to come. Yep. And then they interviewed the same people, and they said, now I'm coming back because Biden said we should come back.
Yep. It's ridiculous. And that's the issue that we're having is like, are we really in that poor of a state right now? Which that doesn't bode well either, that if they're having to kill animals and pets to eat, that says that our grocery prices are way too high.
Yeah, absolutely. And clearly our welfare programs are way too strained for us to even attempt to feed these people. Again, if we were a society that could take in people, we wouldn't need welfare programs. Like, if we didn't have people who were already on welfare, we could take in other people. We could take in the needy and the help from all around the world. Guess what? We have our own people in need here now that have basically permanently become addicted to welfare. And now you're importing a group of people who are going to become permanently addicted to welfare. And since there's not enough to go around anymore, you're going to get stuff like this happening.
Yeah, and like we're getting back to the same issues that we're still having, is if you think that grocery prices were too high before all this happened, this only increases it because the more demand, less supply is what's happening right now. It's the same thing with the housing market. There's more people that need to be housed, and housing prices are only going up and up and up. And that's the reason why, because there's more people demanding homes, but there's not enough homes to go around.
And this will be the justification for more processed foods, for more unhealthy foods. It'll be the reason that they'll be like, oh, by the way, the FDA actually didn't, like, they're patenting synthetic meat and bug meat, and they're not going to tell you because, well, we have to feed these people because there's so many starving, hungry, and needy people all over the world. They go, we're not even going to tell you that we're switching it to, we're not even going to tell you that you're eating bugs now. We're just going to do it.
Yep.
And we're doing it for the greater good, for your benefit, citizen, because you're the one starving. Don't forget the fact that we're the one that created the conditions that made this shortage of food
in the first place.
So, yeah. I mean, we're turning into Venezuela slowly but surely. It'll be a slow, sad turn where nobody will be able to afford anything. I mean, we already can't afford houses. We can already barely afford to go to the grocery store and I mean, again, I could get 6 items and not get out under $100. Sad state of affairs, man.
Yeah.
And there's more people coming, and there's no sign of stopping.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, remember that when you're going to the voting box this year or in November. Because I don't want to say, again, I don't want to put too much hope on the presidency in that office because, again, it's our local community that's the most important. But, I mean, one party is saying thumbs up, get as many people in here as we want, and the other party is saying no, let's try to build a wall and slow this thing down.
Yeah.
But yeah. So that's about all we got for you today. We just wanted to kind of show you the craziness that's going on in the world. So this is the Twins with the Owasso Live. This was the Morning Loop. We are signing off. God bless you.
See you later, everybody.